going to talk about my couchsurfing experience. My friend Sophia and I planned to go to Amsterdam for a long time, so when she came back from her experience in Australia, she told me about the couchsurfing experiences she had there. And so we decided when we're going to Amsterdam that we will do that as well, because we really booked a date that was really busy and the hotels were horrendously expensive and the hostels were all booked out. The first few days we stayed in a hostel and sort of went to Amsterdam not knowing where we're going to be sleeping in the last few days. We did write to some couch surfers and asked them if we could stay there. A lot of them told us that they were booked or they weren't there because of the holidays, so we sort of were on the desperate side. Eventually this guy told us he had a space free. Let's call him Tom because I don't want to say his real name. So we happily thanked him for that. The day where we were supposed to go to his place, he told us he had to work really late. So we planned a whole day of activities to sort of compensate for not having our luggage at his place. So we planned to have a walking tour, we sort of knew where we were going to eat and what we were going to do afterwards. So we were really booked out for that day. He then wrote, at like 1 o'clock, he wrote, "I am finished now with my job, you can come to my place now." And we're like, no, we can't. We've got like a whole day of activities booked. We sort of already know what we're going to be doing. We can come to your place at a later time. He then told us that he had the whole day planned for us with activities to see Amsterdam. He gave us the impression that he really planned a day for us, and we were like, oh, poor guy, we've sort of planned our activities according to his work plan and now he's telling us he's planned something for us. So we felt bad and we said, okay, we're going to do the walking tour because we've already booked and paid for it, but we'll then meet you afterwards. And he's like, okay, when does your walking tour end? And we said, yeah, at 4:30. And he's like, okay, 4:30 we'll meet at the station. And we're like, hang on. We need to get to the station first, so it can be that we're a little bit later than 4:30. 4:25, he then wrote me again and said, "Where are you? I am at the station. Come to the Burger King there." We got to the station and it wasn't that far away from the ending point of the tour, so that was good, I guess. And we looked for this Burger King everywhere. We could not find him standing anywhere. So at the Burger King, we sort of looked for him and we didn't have a lot to go by because we only had like a few profile pictures and we didn't see him anywhere. We were sort of looking for people that were sort of standing there, looking like they're waiting for someone, but there was literally no people, and he was like writing us saying, "I'm here, where are you?" And we're like, we're sort of looking for you, we're outside of Burger King, we can't find you. Are you at another Burger King? We could just meet in front of the station, maybe that's easier. Eventually we did find him at the Burger King, like at the third try of trying to get into the station and stand in front of this Burger King. This guy was really nice at first. He was like really enthusiastic and going, "Let's go, do activities." And we were like, okay, but can we eat first? Because before the walking tour we didn't eat because we had breakfast earlier on. He asked me, "What do you want to eat?" And I was like, oh, a bakery is fine, or a slice of pizza, I don't really care, but I need food because I'm going to get really, really hangry, which I was sort of at the level at already. So he's like, oh, I know a great pizza place where you can get slices. And I'm like, okay, fine. We were walking after him, like following him, and he was like, yeah, I know where it is. It's just here, right, left. And we eventually ended up in the same spot as we started, and I was like, are you sure you know where this pizza place is? I don't necessarily need pizza. I can have a kebab or anything else, literally anything edible. I just need food. And he's like, oh yeah, I know where it is. Sort of walking on, so we following politely, and eventually he just said, oh, we'll just go here. And I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't great, but I wasn't going to complain. But after getting my slice of pizza and eating it, he said, okay, I'm going to show you the windmill. great, okay. And thinking it's not that big windmill we've already like passed a million times. And he's like walking along, and eventually he was like, oh yeah, let's go to your hostel first. And we're like, oh, I thought we were going to go to the windmill. And he's like, oh no, the windmill's in the wrong direction. And I was like, right, okay. So Fia and me were already like, this guy is crazy. What is wrong with this guy? So his plan was to go to his hostel. And we're like, okay, do you know where it is? Because we can just lead the way because we've been walking to this hostel for 3 days. And he's like, oh no, I know where your hostel is. It's right over here. And he was walking in the wrong direction, and we were sort of saying, it's in the other direction. He's like, no, this is a shortcut. So we're like, okay, if he says so, this is a shortcut. And eventually we were in the middle of central Amsterdam in the complete different direction to our hostel. And we were like, okay, hold up. Our hostel is right over there, right in that direction. We're sort of lost. After convincing him that our hostel was definitely not to the right of us, but on the other side of Amsterdam, he sort of let us lead the way to our hostel until he realised our hostel was like another 10 minutes walking away, which was fine with us. We've been doing it for 3 days now. We sort of found the way around. He then said, oh, from here, your hostel is far too far away. We need to take a tram. And we're like, oh, it's not that far away. We've been doing this every day, so it's just round the corner now. We just have to walk straight and then right, and then we're literally just there. He's like, oh, no, it's far too far away. We're just gonna get the tram. So him wanting to get the tram, he's like, oh, I know, the tram is the 14. We need to get the 14. So we're like, okay, fine, we'll get the 14. Obviously, not really knowing the names of the places, we only sort of know the direction and how to get to our hostels, but not really remembering the street names and tram names. So he said we need to get the 14. So we're like, okay, let's get the 14. The 14 came. We're like, oh, that's the 14. He's like, oh, no, that's a wrong one. And it's far too full. So we're like, oh, okay, when does the next 14 come? Oh, it comes soon. So we had at least 2 14s pass us, and he's like, oh, we can get the 7 as well. Because we didn't know it better, we just let him say what he was saying and sort of got on the tram. Getting on the tram, there were a list of prices. So there was like a day ticket, a one-way ticket, and a child's ticket. And it was like translated in English, so we did see it as well. And he was talking to the guy and saying, oh yeah, we want the child's ticket for the 2 girls. And the guy was like, no. The guy was sort of saying, those 2 girls are definitely not under 12. They need to get either a one-way ticket or a day ticket. And he was sort of pointing to the day ticket, and we were like, whoa, we don't need to pay for the day ticket when we only need a one-way ticket. And he's like, oh, okay. So we sort of took over, said we need 2 one-way tickets, and took them. And it was literally like 2 stops. We could have walked it, but we didn't complain. So we got off, got our stuff, and he sort of was then surprised that this was our hostel and sort of questioning us if that really was a hostel. But I mean, we got our luggage there, so whatever. He then said, let's walk to my place. And I was like, oh, can we not use the tram ticket we just bought to get to your place? And he was like, oh no, we can't get a tram to my place because it's sort of in the other area, so you can't go with the tram to that way. So we started following him and sort of realised after like 30 minutes of walking and seeing the same tram passing us that we could have easily gotten the tram. On the way to his house, he sort of asked us to describe him, and we sort of said he's quite temperamental, which sort of means he's enthusiastic and passionate person, and he didn't really understand the translation we had for him. So he asked a friend he had in Germany. This came back to bite us really bad because his friend in Germany told him that the translation was tempered. tempered is definitely not a positive translation, and definitely not the right translation we were trying to describe him with. So he was getting really, really grumpy. He was not impressed with us, he was not talking to us, he was sort of very one-worded after that. On the way to his house, he sort of started talking to us and seemed to be giving me more attention than my friend, and was telling us how he doesn't have a sofa at the moment. And we're like, oh, didn't you write on Couchsurfing that we would sleep on the sofa? And he's like, oh, what sofa? My sofa is being repaired. I don't have a sofa at the moment. I don't have a table either because I've given my neighbours the table because I didn't like it anymore, and I haven't bought a new one yet. So we're like, oh, okay, so you don't have a sofa. Do you have like a spare bed, or are we sleeping on the floor, or what have you planned for us? And he's like, oh, I haven't really thought about it, but I have a really nice smooth carpet on the floor. And we're like, okay, we are probably going to be sleeping on the floor, which is better than sleeping in the station and being cold or anything like that. I was just editing the footage for the whole Couchsurfing experience video and found out it's really, really long, and I'm not sure if I can put it in one video, so I've made it into 2 parts, and the second part will come at a later date.